2K, 2K.
If you don't have time to grind and you want to buy a stacked account in 2K with max badges, a nice record, and a high overall, hit up sportstnb.com. The link is on the screen, and you can find the link in both the comment section and in the description. Welcome everybody to NBA 2K 2010s, a spin-off of the NBA 2010 series that I'm doing over on the main channel. If you're following me over there, then you know it's a very simple concept. I'm going through multiple categories and just ranking things from the NBA in the 2010s, and now I'm going to bring that over to the 2K series. And before you bother to hit the comment section, yes, I know, it probably would have been a smoother name to call it NBA 2K10s because 2K is 2000s, I get it. But I put 2K10s and people are going to think it's just a video about 2K10. They're going to glance at it, they're not going to read fully, they're not going to click on the video. It's that simple. So anyways, today is the first edition and we're going to be going through and I guess ranking, you could call it, the biggest exploits of the 2Ks in the 2010s. I guess I'm going to do them in order, but to be honest, all these exploits were pretty bad. I'm not so sure that one was so much worse than the other. They all sucked, they all pissed us off. Cheesers all used them the same. And I'm gonna say it now, this may be just a part 1 of the exploits videos because as you guys catch on and leave comments and hit me up on Twitter, maybe you'll remind me of exploits that I just, I can't remember. I've been playing 2K since 2K8. I've got many memories with 2K and sometimes you just forget what was really cheesy about one or the other. And here I've written down 6 and I am positive that there is more than 6. So if you think there are some that deserve to be on this list, just hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, or the comment section here, but social media is more preferable. Let me know if you think there should be more, and if there are more, I'll hit you up with part 2. So at number 6, we are actually going to start here at home with NBA 2K19, and I believe I made an entire video dedicated to this problem. Well, I made a video dedicated to the problem, but not the actual exploit. The exploit itself would be mismatch fast breaking, and what I mean by that is you would have cheesers go online and play players totally out of position. So not just my team, I'm talking about a regular online match, which I have a specific example on the screen. This was a game with the Celtics and Lakers. I was the Celtics, the other guy was the Lakers, and this guy here was not even interested in trying to play basketball. What he did was he played like JaVale McGee as shooting guard, he had his point guards playing center, and he had a couple of goals in mind. First off, he knew that I only had 5 pauses. I believe that's what you have online, right? You can only pause 5 times, you can only call timeout so many times to actually try to match your players back up. Also, once your players start subbing, if you've gone in and messed with the matchups, then your guys on the bench are going to be guarding people out of position. It's just a whole thing that gets really screwy that you don't really have the time or the amount of pauses to fix. But specifically what he was able to do was take advantage of the fact that in NBA 2K19, after you score or something happens on the offensive end, your players would get stuck in animations where like for maybe just a half a second or maybe a full second, your players would just pause and look around just ever so slightly so that his players have time to run full court. Next thing you know, every time down is a fast break. Every time down, he's got like 3 or 4 guys back while even if it's just one of your defenders that took the play off, he's got a mismatch, he's got a fast break, he can run it, he can cherry pick every single time. So with this strategy, players were really able to take advantage of a few mishaps on the game itself. But the main thing here was putting your players out of position so they would have a speed or a size advantage and fast breaking non-stop. Who would even want to spend like 30 or 40 minutes of their life playing 2K this way? Why not just actually play competitively? I don't know, but moving on. Here's one from my league players because this is basically the only place you would actually use this exploit, and I'm going to say that it would be in NBA 2K16/NBA 2K19 because that's where I noticed it the most, but it could definitely apply to more, I just don't know. But NonStop Postups were an extremely easy way to take advantage of the computer, and it actually takes the fun out of playing the computer if I'm being honest. So in NBA 2K16, back when I was doing the My League with LeBron James and Chris Paul, I had a game against the Phoenix Suns where I scored around 90 points I think with LeBron, and it was because the Hall of Fame defense for the Phoenix Suns never made an adjustment to my post up. So all I had to do every single time down the floor was call a post up for LeBron James, spin into the paint, and because they decided not to bring help, because they decided to single coverage, I would have a dunk or a layup every single play. Now the interesting thing here was I noticed during that My League year that the Suns were the only team that played me that way, so If I had LeBron James against, let's say, like the Julius Erving Sixers, after a couple post-ups, they're gonna bring a double team. They're gonna do something, they're gonna bring help. It wasn't as easy against other teams, so I thought, hey, this is just the way the Suns play. They wanted to single out LeBron. That's what I thought. But then just the other day, no more than 2 days ago, I'm playing with the 2010 Lakers and I'm in a playoff series against the 14 Clippers. Well, the Clippers have JJ Redick at shooting guard. Not only did the computer not attempt to make some matchup adjustment there where they could have a bigger defender on Kobe, but again, they let me put JJ Redick in the post every single play. They never brought help. Kobe is much taller, he has crazy post footwork and post moves in general, but you don't even need to use any of those. You can just spin right past JJ Redick and the team never brought help, and they didn't double until like the end of the game, so I was able to run up like 50 points. So the thing here is, I didn't play certain 2Ks offline. I didn't play 18 offline, 17 offline. There's a lot of years where I was just mostly online, so this could very well just be an exploit in 2K throughout the 2010s period, but during 16 and 19, I've noticed it heavily where 2K does tout their defensive AI and saying that they make it better every year, but this is a very simple exploit where if you have a star player who can play with his back to the basket, you could run up a 60-point night in my league just like that, like with no effort involved. Now, if you take this strategy online, like after the first or second play, your guy is gonna make adjustments, he's gonna bring double teams, he's gonna do something. I've tried it online and it doesn't work, so this is strictly an offline exploit. Now let's get to the fun stuff. Those were kind of generic. At number 4, the Euro step three-pointer in NBA 2K13. Yes, you heard me correctly. I said Euro step three-pointer. That was a thing. For those of you who started playing NBA 2K on the PS4 and your first one was like 15 or whatever, yes, there was a day where we could take players, pretty much anybody. You could Euro step to the side into a jump shot, into a three-pointer, and it would go in, so it wouldn't be a thing where like the game registered it as a tough or impossible shot. It was an actual exploit that you could use to score. And this was one that I had to have people remind me of because for some reason I did not remember it, but when I was doing the NBA 2K13 review, I actually found it in research. I was researching exploits and I found a Euro step three-pointer. Could you imagine the last few years playing against the Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant and Steph Curry and dudes Euro stepping with KD on the three-point line? Oh, no, no, no. Especially today where everybody has the capability to share something straight off their PS4 or Xbox. You'd have Pierce Sharps in the neighborhood straight cheesing with no shame. At number 3, give me NBA 2K11 Spin Dunk, and this was basically like the post up from both 16 and 19, and as long as you had a good dunker, so LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, somebody who was fairly athletic. If I remember it correctly, as you're running towards the goal, you tap square twice and like rotate the analog or something, and it wasn't even like an individual move that you pulled off, it was a whole animation. So if I can remember correctly, you would actually see the defender kind of cower down as he's getting dunked on and he'd be stuck in it. So you're playing online, you wouldn't be able to do anything about it. Your guy would just get sucked into this animation of being spin dunked on. Now 2K11 was also the first year of the Miami Heat trio, so imagine people with a very good, pretty much prime Dwayne Wade and prime LeBron James online just spin dunking you to death. Oh, that is just sensational. At number 2, let's barely rewind the clock to NBA 2K18, and man, it does not feel like we are already about to be 2 2Ks removed from it. But in NBA 2K18, a huge exploit and a main reason why this game took no skill to play: blow-bys. Yes, I am categorizing blow-bys as exploits because you didn't need to run plays, you didn't need to know how to use post moves, you didn't need to know how to run out offense, you didn't need any of that in NBA 2K18. You just needed to know how to cross over a few times, get on the side of somebody, and run to the rim. That's all you needed. One of the main reasons that the launch release of NBA 2K18 was notorious for its, the stonewall defense that it had where you could barely move was because blow-bys was such a big problem and such a big complaint in NBA 2K18. If I'm remembering correctly, it would actually be like an animation. So as the ball handler got the step on a player, you would actually see him kind of like put his left arm or whichever was the off arm, you would see him put it towards the defender, and it would kind of enter an animation where now he's in the back line of your defense. It led to easy layups, it led to your big men getting in foul trouble, and it led to a lot of frustration because at the end of the day, you really felt like you were wasting your time playing this game online against people. You felt like, what was the point of playing on-ball defense if you knew that your guy was just going to get blown by regardless? If you knew that, then it kind of felt like it was smarter to just start bringing help defense or positioning your big men for when you knew it was going to happen. Yeah, it just totally devalued skills, so Good on the devs for actually going to NBA 2K19 and focusing on defense, even if it was too much. They definitely improved it, and this year I think that's what frustrated a lot of people who didn't actually know how to play 2K, and I think it led to some unnecessary complaining. The defense was too strong, but even when they kind of nerfed it, you saw people mad that they couldn't get by anybody, but they were just trying to spam the same dribble moves. And I can still say, like, up to this point, blow-bys really hasn't been a problem. Your guy will get the ball stolen, he'll lose it if he gets tired. I think that's one good thing they did this year. And number one on this list, which again is probably just a part one, because by now I'm sure that you guys think I left a lot off. I've even remembered some while I was recording, but I'm just not going to do it on this video. That'll be in part two. How about the quick four horns flare? And correct me if I'm wrong, but I never saw this play in the game or used in the game until NBA 2K18. I'm sure it was a part of playbooks before because it's used in the real NBA, but whatever they did to it in NBA 2K18 just made it so incredibly cheesy that your entire offense could just be based off of that one play. If you were someone who did not like to run plays, all you needed was the quick four horns flare. I made an entire video about it in NBA 2K18. I dubbed it the best play in NBA 2K history. Really, probably should have just been the cheesiest. And the play in that game specifically was just so impossible to cover because even if you saw it coming, once your defender got screened for the guy that was leaking out for a shot, you were really out of options. On top of that, if you were going to overcommit to the shooter, then you just left the drive wide open. So this play, first of all, if you saw it coming too late, then you were already out of luck. But even if you saw it coming, it was just so effective that you could use it over and over again to really win you a game or to bring you back in a game. I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit. I've had to use it to erase a double-digit lead. Yeah, it was an exploit. Now, in NBA 2K19, they did go on to actually nerf this play, and what they did is, if I remember correctly, for the screen setter, they basically just implemented a very small pause. So, whereas in NBA 2K18, the whole play was just kind of continuous, the screen setter, I believe, pauses for like a second, or somebody involved in the play just pauses for like 1 second, and that made all the difference. The play was nowhere near as effective. The CPU defense, or even just the player himself, was able to recover to the shooter. It made it so that the only way it could really be successful in this version was it actually did have to catch the defender off guard. He really did have to not have a clue what was going on, because if he'd seen the play and he knew what was coming, then it was fairly easy to stop in 19, but in 18, boy, this was the only play that you needed. So yeah, there goes some exploits for some 2Ks in the 2010s. Again, this list can probably go on forever, so hit me on Twitter, Instagram. That's where you have the best chance of me seeing it. Let me know if there are exploits that you think deserve to be in a part 2. Hit the like button, comment, and sub if you think you're going to enjoy this series and want to see more, and hit the bell next to my name if you want notifications when the next one drops. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.